Clinic. So, thank you for joining me today. We're going to be talking about a subject we've been hearing a lot about. It's been featured heavily in and around the socials recently, and it is an aspect of well-being that really affects so many of the people we see here in the clinic, and that is cortisol or our cortisol levels. So, cortisol is a stress hormone produced by the adrenal glands, and we need it. Cortisol in small quantities is not a bad thing. However, we tend to rely on it really heavily, and this can lead to dysregulation of this stress hormone. So, in any kind of hormone dysregulation, it will have a knock on effect and can really affect other parts of the body, such as our adrenal glands. And this can really kick on and affect our energy levels, our sleep quality, and even our weight regulation. So, specifically, what I want to talk about today is whether or not your morning routine is secretly sabotaging your cortisol levels. So, quick question: who here has coffee first thing on an empty stomach or skips breakfast altogether? If that's you, drop us a coffee emoji in the comment section. So, the next question is: how many of you are reaching for your phone the minute you wake up, or jumping straight into emails before you do anything else? You can drop a hands up emoji if this is you. So, why does all of this matter? Basically, what you do in the morning will set the tone of your entire hormonal cascade for the day. When you immediately expose yourself to stress, you disrupt your body's natural cortisol rhythm. As well, what you do in that first 30 minutes will set your metabolic tone for the day. When you have caffeine on an empty stomach, you're setting yourself up for a massive afternoon crash. And having an afternoon crash can be so stressful because it really does impact the second half of our day. So, when we talk about hormone cascades, we're talking about reactions within the body. And when you're stressed, your body will literally steal resources meant for other hormones to make more stress hormone so you can keep pushing through your day. And you can really see how this just sets up that chain reaction where every day you're pushing through, um, and every day you're experiencing more in terms of fluctuating energy levels. So, anyway, this resource stealing, we call it the pregnenolone steal. And this occurs when we stress our body out first thing. Our body will divert other resources to fuel our stress. So, this can lead to changes in our appetite. Our energy levels will go up and down throughout the day, and we'll often feel extremely fatigued, which will then affect your ability to concentrate, um, or brain fog, which is really not helpful when you have a lot to do. There's a few really easy things that you can do to support your energy levels and balance your cortisol yourself. So, um, our optimal morning sequence is to one, support adrenal function by hydrating with natural salts. Secondly, eat a protein rich breakfast within 30 minutes of waking. And certainly wait at least 90 minutes before coffee, and always have your coffee with food. Like, give that caffeine a foundation to sit on. And then, as well, for gentle movement. So, to go on that in a little more detail, having a high protein breakfast within 30 minutes of waking will help stabilize your blood sugar and support your adrenal function right from the start. If any of you are doing this already, do feel free to share your favorite go to breakfast option below. And remember, we're aiming for at least 20 grams of protein at breakfast. As well, the type of exercise we choose to do really matters, especially when you're exhausted. Um, we categorize adrenal health into three phases. So, alarm, adaptation, and exhaustion. Your morning movement should really reflect what phase you're in. There is a simple test. If you feel worse after exercise rather than energized, you might be in a more advanced state of adrenal exhaustion and need to scale back your activities to something that is really gentle. And by gentle, we mean things like a short walk, around 30 minutes, and preferably outside if you can, a restorative yoga practice, so like a slow yoga practice. Um, Meditation can be especially beneficial for supporting your nervous system in the morning too, especially if you are a bit short on time. Or even just dancing around to your favorite song and dance like no one's watching. Um, Anything that just really moves the body without adding extra levels of exhaustion. You don't want to be tired at the start of the day. And actually, the other really important lifestyle habit we can change to our morning routine is actually to start the night before. So, just as like what time we eat can impact our energy, so too can the time you go to bed and how much sleep you're actually getting. So, one of the tricky things with cortisol dysregulation, and some of you will be experiencing this, is that you might be getting a second wind around the time you really should be getting to bed. So, when you should be tired, you've been tired all day, and then all of a sudden, when you're ready to go to bed, you get this huge burst of energy and you feel like doing all sorts of things that you haven't had capacity for earlier in the day. So, if you experience a second wind, do feel free to drop into the comments the weirdest thing you've suddenly found yourself doing at 10 o'clock at night. I've heard things like deciding to clean out a kitchen cupboard or to sort through all those clothes that you've been meaning to, all sorts of things like that. And so, you know, what we really do at night can also have a huge impact on how we feel in the morning. So, reaching for your phone or emails can have a negative impact at night, just as it can in the morning when we're trying to fall asleep. So, really, what you want to do is to start a couple of hours before you want to go to sleep, reducing artificial light exposure. So, reducing how much light is around you, like turning off or dimming overhead lights, using lamps instead. And making sure that when you go to bed, you're not taking your phone with you and lying there scrolling, or your laptop or your iPad or whatever. No scrolling, emails, watching TV in bed. That artificial light really does interfere with our body's ability to fall asleep easily. And then the other thing is, we generally don't go to bed early enough. And it's hard, right? It's so hard to find balance to fit all the things you want to fit into a day. But going to bed a little earlier really does make a difference to how you feel the next day. And it can really help to prevent waking up feeling groggy. As well, it can also help us fall asleep more naturally rather than tossing and turning for ages. Aiming to be in bed and asleep by 10:30 is actually a really good start. I can hear some of you screaming about that, but try, give it a try and see how it works for you. It really can make such a difference. Um, so, to really sum up the differences you can make to your morning routine, is to implement good sleep hygiene habits the night before. Have a really good breakfast with protein, preferably within 30 minutes of waking in the morning. Do some gentle movement before your day kicks off, and absolutely no caffeine or no coffee on an empty stomach. And it's not about being perfect, it's about being consistent. So, making small changes to really build up positive new habits is the way to go. Yeah. Um, Also, if you really struggle with breakfast ideas and the inspiration to think of new things to have, drop a yes, please in the comments, and we'll send you 3 power packed protein based breakfast recipes, specifically designed to support your cortisol rhythm and help prevent that dreaded afternoon crash. Um, they include really easy things that you can prepare in advance, because that can be really important too, right? Going back to what you do the night before and how that can impact the next day. Rushing around trying to do food prep in the morning when there's so many other things to do can be a bit much. So, we look for things that you can prepare and keep well in the fridge overnight. And they're things like a smoothie bowl with protein powder, frozen banana, spinach, avocado, topped with chia seeds and hemp seeds and berries, if you like, which will really provide not just protein but potassium as well, which helps to helps with electrolyte balance, and that is really crucial for energy maintenance throughout the day. You can also have things like eggs with some sauteed greens, little avocado, quinoa, and a handful of pumpkin seeds. That's a nice one for those who prefer a savory breakfast. But the other really easy option, and this one is very good done the night before, is Greek yogurt with protein powder, some gluten-free oats, a nut butter like an almond butter, and a good sprinkling of cinnamon, which is absolutely delicious, of course, and will help to maintain your blood sugar levels as well. So, yeah, thank you for joining me. Remember, food before caffeine. Try to go to bed earlier. Try have your breakfast in the first 30 minutes you wake up, and a little gentle movement every day. And if don't forget to pop in the links if you want. Pop a comment in below if you want those recipes sent to you. And feel free to book a consultation in with one of our practitioners if you're ready to transform your energy levels and improve your overall sense of well-being for 2025. We'd love to see you. Thanks so much.